an idea that I think is very useful to understand, it is also that the dreams are a way to access what our psyche wants to tell us and what is happening to our unconsciousness. Meaning, let's go to paint. In a therapeutic setting, if we just go right into the problem, what do we face? Ego mechanisms of defense. Okay? If we go straight to the issue, let's say, this is what's bad with you, this is what's wrong with you. The person goes like, no, it's not. It goes and then goes back, no, it's not. What the hell? This is why what happens in socialization. This is why ego mechanisms of defense are helpful and healthy. It is because they have a role to play. This is how we stand up by ourselves, to ourselves in society. And we don't get taken down by tyranny and other tyrants, as Jordan Peterson says, and I love that man. Right? We defend ourselves. So I say a joke to you, and you joke me back. Look at what the hell he's saying. And so it is also has a role to play. It's also useful. For example, when you are in a stressful situation, but you have to keep going, if somebody challenges you, you have to keep going, right? You have to maintain that ego in a healthy way, not in an inflammatory way, and not go into emotional side. I will defend this argument here in a healthy manner, not in a healthy manner in a way, okay? And of course, this is a little bit an approach of the time from Carl Jung when he wrote this, because today it is becoming more and more or less the approach that we take socially, but it's still very common, and I think in some way it will always be useful, especially when you are talking in positions of power and not in positions of just being happy in a 9-to-5 job, I would say, because this will always happen, in my opinion. Like the challenge of leaders, the challenge of who is in charge, and he will have somehow some way to defend, even that's ego, which is considered in these days the more unhealthy way of defending, / with comprehension, or to do comprehension / have compassion. Yeah. So this is to say just ego mechanisms of defense, they also have a role. And even though it's showing that compassion, ego still plays in a role. We are not completely pure, not even close. Nobody is. Nobody. No, I'm not God, at least, and nobody is God. You are not God. As far as I know, if you are, tell me in the comments. I'm God. I will listen to you. Okay. So what the hell we do in therapy? As I'm a psychology student, I'm going to tell you. In therapy, what we do with this ego mechanism of defense is that we don't go just right away into it, so we get some insights into you. No, because that won't happen. Because you don't trust sufficiently in me, and even trust is not the right word, because you can trust friends and even your wife and family, and you open up to things that you wouldn't open up to him / they / your family. So the right word I think it is accept you completely and without any judgment. I think that's the right way to put it out. Unconditionally accepting yourself. So when the therapeutic relationship it is being built, and the person feels that can say whatever it comes to mind, that it will be accepted and received by other with love and not with judgment, then if the person starts to feel secure and safe, oh, I can say really my profound thoughts that I would have feared sharing them with my wife or friends, and I will have someone that will work with me on them, and we won't judge. We will go through this together. Wow, that's amazing, right? So that's what we do. So we accept, and we don't go just right into the topic, like when people are face to face. No, in therapy it is a little bit slided up to the side, so it is not just straight into the face, into your eyes. So it is side to the side, so it is not such a confrontational conversation. So the person can just, because of this, feel more prone to open up. And with this construction of relationship, the ego mechanisms of defense will drop. And as they drop, it is more easier for the person, because of course this relationship is building, but emotions are building, a relationship is building, so physiological transformations are occurring, feelings are occurring, the person feels accepted. Wow, I can talk to the most deep and profound things of my psyche, I will be listened to and heard. My God, it's amazing. So the information will become more available to the therapist, so both can work. And this is why it is good to trust on the therapist, because when you trust on the therapist, you are more prone to share what's really bothering you deeply that you don't know, as it is more easier and easier to find out what the hell is below the surface of the psyche. So you can work with it, and of course this can be also the person knowing what's going on, but just not feeling comfortable sharing it because of the fear of judgment. And as the relationship is built, it is more easier and easier for the information comes out, and so both can work on it. And the dream do some similar thing like this, because dreams can be useful even if it is just for projections. So me projecting my wishes, thoughts, and problems into the symbols of my psyche, and is in the more correct word here, it is the objects of my psyche, because symbols have meaning behind it. If it is a projection, the object, it is not the source of meaning, but it is my projection, which is the source of meaning. But that's not what we accept here. We accept as the production of dreams as sources of meaning that we can enter there through the psyche and from the symbol. So from symbols. So a crab, it can be a symbol for something else that is more deeper that my dream produced. For example, Carl Jung shared in his book Psychology of Unconscious from 1912 that this could happen this happened to one of his clients. It was a woman that had a dream of a river that she wasn't able to cross. But as she goes from the right to the left, she sees a vow, meaning a place where the river, it is not so much, it doesn't have so much depth, so she can walk and cross the river safely. But as she starts to cross in the river, a crab grabs his leg, and objectively it will be easy for her to just grab the crab, throwing it into the ground, and just continue the crossing of the river. But that's not what happens in the dream. She is being grabbed by the crab, and she just becomes astonished and full of that emotion of pain and shock, that she can't proceed, just says there, oh, she just can't proceed. It is like an emotional block that she has, that that it puts in front of her, that it is impedient for her continuation on walking that street. And that's amazing, because we can work here with a lot of symbols. And Carl Jung says that the river would be the symbol for some type of obstacle that it is facing. And she sees the solution. A path where she can cross the river safely. But there's something on their life that does not let her cross the river safely. Which, in the case, it turns out to be a friend that she knows she has to break up with to continue her life in a healthy and positive way. But she just can't. She just can't, because she is addicted to the discussions and neuroticism that she has with her friend and her friend has with her. So it is like a toxic relationship where both are attached to the feelings that one bring onto each other, which is a fantastic and amazing thing. Because it makes me remember like when we are attached with some relationship that it does bad for us, but we are on that loop, vicious loop. It is harder for the people to get out. And it is necessary. We can even know this neuroscientifically with states of affection. A person can have his emotional home with it being more melancholic, but his emotional home can be more fulfilled with happiness. And it is influenced, of course, by genetics, but also a lot by environment. And it is more easy for the person to continue in that state than transform itself in a more healthy state. Like people that are being abused by domestic violence. Lots of times the person who is being abused cannot leave the relationship because somehow she thinks he will change, he loves me. That's how I know. She can see a life without him. It is like the loop that she is in. So she can change his state. So it was what really was happening here. And he continues to talk, and it goes to a childhood impulse that she didn't had surpassed also. So to say that dreams can communicate this to us, and of course it's very subjective, in a more subtle ways, because with other types of connections to us, communicating, observing objectively, or through introspection, they cannot be enough for the person to surpass them and to understand what's happening to her. So with dreams, in my perspective, are just another way to enter in the world of the unconsciousness and in the meaning of the psyche, that it is theoretically infinite. And of course, there can be multiple interpretations that can be right to that dream, or there can be useful interpretations that can be right for the dream, right? So I think part of it also, and I'm here being influenced by emotions focused therapy, where of course this is more complex, but I think it is also useful to share this. If we are doing in a self and autonomous way, seeing all the sides of the object of what this can mean. It can be the friend, it can be any other thing on my life that I have to fix. I mean, multiple things, and of course multiple things can be right. But if I want to add here a little bit of emotion focused therapy that I learned recently, and I think I can. I think also a healthy way to see this is to look for these meanings where while we are navigating on this on this psyche. And see how our body reacts. And in emotion focused therapy, there is a term which is organismic knowledge / organismic experience, which is looking and being conscious of our body and looking to find the word that matches what you are feeling, building then a narrative that is accordingly to your body knowledge. And I think that's right. I think that we can apply this to analytical psychology, meaning we can look, while we are navigating in this world, trying to see different knowledge, we can see which and when some type of knowledge fits right. Oh, this feels right to my body. So I look, I pay attention to my body, and I see and look to when it feels right. And when it feels right, I block the narrative and I do what the hell I have to do. And it can be also a process of experimentation, meaning the person can see, maybe it's this, acts out in the world, turns out it's not. Well, then let's continue to see what the hell it is. But definitely the organismic experience can be really healthy, helpful, even though depending on the circumstances of life, it can be really even dangerous on more extreme cases, slash really challenging to see what the hell this means. Because if the person it is with huge stress, hypervigilance, full of anxiety, tension, it can be really hard to, what the fuck is this? So my advice in that situation is to, if it is possible to find the meaning, find the meaning. But if it's not, in my case, this is what I'm doing. Just look to relax in a healthy way, meaning eating well, sleeping well, doing exercise, so the psyche can calm down more easily and faster. Looking also to connect with friends deeply that can help you, and doing mindfulness, at least with me, also helps. Meditation, giving self hugs, making some serotonin go up. This is really wonderful. This is a nice exercise. I think this is particularly useful, and I'm saying this for me, for children that growing up received almost none of love with touch and physical. And I am one of those childs. Like, I only have a memory of my mom hugging me when I'm like 23, and because I did some work with her, asking and telling her to hug me. But before that, not to hug me, just to accept a physical love, because she wasn't able even to accept a hug. She will say, I don't like hugs, I don't like touch, I don't like nothing, blah 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 blah. And then one time she finally starts to accept love in the touch way, and I woke up one day and she's giving me a hug. I found it so amazing and beautiful. My God, I never haven't woken up in a day with my mom wanting to hug me. So it was wonderful. And my dad, of course, also not. So I think it's really interesting because I really feel the differences. It's like scientific study. I learned this from my colleague Marisabel Fernandes. After 20 seconds of doing this, like a self-hug, you release serotonin and other healthy hormones into your body and brain. So really, really helpful too. And interesting. Of course, this is not being solved from day to night. It takes time to solve these things. And of course, being accompanied by therapists also helps. If you want to work with a therapist you can contact with me. I can send you to a psychologist that I trust, so he can help you to have a more better and fulfilling life. So you can follow my future clinic, College School for Adults, if you want. I will be releasing content there really soon. Yeah, for this video I think it's enough. Thank you. Bye bye.